Hello, students. Today we are going to see this new chapter, which is known as list, tuples, set, and dictionary. Okay, so these are all the names of uh, sa- names of data collections in Python. So we are going to see uh, these things in a detailed way. Okay. So in this chapter, we are going to understand the concept of various collection data types. So this is a collection of data types in Python, such as list, tuples, sets, and a dictionary. So working with a list, tuple, set, dictionary using varieties of function, writing Python program using list, tuples, set, and a dictionary. And we are going to understand the relationship between list, tuples, and dictionary. Okay. So, first of all, introduction of list. So, Python programming language has four collections of data types such as list, tuples, set, and dictionary. So, what is meant by this collection of data types? Okay, so you can take for example list. So, list contains so many data in one variable itself. Okay, so you can create a list of items or list of numbers, or even you can create list of phone numbers. Okay, so there will be multiple phone numbers in single variable name itself. Okay, you can just access it by using their index numbers. Okay, so we'll see that. So a list in Python is known as sequence data type, like string. So in string you can see that starting in a string you can see that it is a collection of single letters. Okay, it is a collection of single characters. So single characters form many single characters form a word or a sentence. So something like that, you can see that so many data form a sequential data type. Okay, so it is an ordered collection of values enclosed with the square brackets. So to differentiate all the three things, the list, tuples, set, and dictionary, the brackets will vary. Okay, so uh, you have to understand what is the brackets for which sequence of data. Okay, so for list you can see that it is square brackets. So each value of a list is called as elements. It can be of any type such as number, character, string, and even the nested list. Okay, as well. So every every item in the list is known as elements. You can you can store any type of data like numbers, string, symbols, or even another substring can be sublist can be created inside another list. So this is known as nested list. So we'll be seeing all those things in the forthcoming chapter. Okay, so it can the elements can be modified or mutable. Okay, you can change it and you can modify it, which means that elements can be replaced, added, or removed. Every element rests at some position in the list. The position of the elements is indexed with a number beginning with a 0, which is used to locate and access a particular element. So thus list is similar to array, which we have learnt in 11th standard. Okay, so in the 11th standard you would have read about a topic which is known as array. Okay, array is a collection of similar data items. So this collection of similar data items has this indexing method. So each element in the array will have some accessing value or index value. So by using this index value, you can access it, or you can just uh, locate the position of it. Okay, so that is the work of this index value. So the same concept is available in this list in Python. So let's see how to create a list. So in Python, a list is is simply created by using square brackets. The elements of the list should be specified within the square bracket. The following syntax explains the creation of list. So you can create a variable name equal to square brackets element 1, element 2, up to which element you need. You can give separated by commas. Okay, you can provide it. uh, you have to separate it by commas, and then you have to close it by ending square bracket. So here they have created an example mark. You can see that 4 marks are available and 4 fruits are available. Even you can see that my list is equal to empty list is also created. In the above example, the list marks has 4 integer elements. Second list fruits has 4 string elements, and the third is an empty list. Okay, the elements of the list need not to be homogeneous type of data. Okay, you can follow any kind of data. Say for example, in the next list, my list, so first element is a string, and 3.14 is a floating value, and 10 is an integer, and then the last element, you can see that 246, it is a sub list. Okay, so your data must be homogeneous. Homogeneous means same. uh, it's not like that. Okay, you can just give any different data types in a single list. Okay, so in the above example, my list contains another list as an element. This type of list is known as nested list. Okay, so in a list, you are creating another list inside a list, which is known as nested list. Nested list is a list containing another list as a element. So accessing list elements. So how to access a list element? So Python assigns automatic index value for each elements of a list begins with zero begins with zero index value, and can be used to access the element in a list. In Python, index value is an integer number which can be positive or negative. Okay, so in the previous class itself, we have seen um positive subscript value, negative subscript value, the same as it is. You can also see it here in the list. Positive index value and negative index value, both can be applied to this mm, index value. So positive index value counts from the beginning of the list, and negative value means counting backwards from end of the list in the reverse order. To access the to access an element from the list, write the name of the list followed by the index value. Okay, index value of the element enclosed within square brackets. So here you can see that they have given another one example here. So list variable equal to e1 e2 e up to en. They have created a list variable. So if you want to print any one of the variable, you have to provide this list variable, which is the variable list name, and open a small square brackets, and you have to use the index value of the particular element so that you can access it or you can modify it. Here there is an example. So here there are four elements. You can see that mark is the variable name. In that, the next statement, you can see that they are trying to print the first element is 0. So print marks of 0. Okay, oh, so square brackets and closing square brackets, and then they are executing the instruction. The result is the 10. So which is the first mark of the list. So in the above example, print command prints 10 as an output, as the index value of 10 is 0. In the next example, you can see that it is in reverse order. So minus 1 is the value that is given here inside the square brackets. So minus 1 will start from reverse order. So 75 is the output that is given here. Accessing all elements in the list. So you to access all the elements in the list, you can use looping structures. Okay, so loops are used to access all elements from the list. The initial value of the loop must be 0. The loop is the beginning index value of the list. So you can use loop. Okay, so in the example you can see that there are four elements in the list. So the initial value I is equal to 0, and they have used while loop while I is equal to less than 4. So you can see that starting from 0 to 4, 0 to 3, you can see that it will be accessing in Python. The last value will be eliminated in a loop. Okay, so starting from 0 to 3 will be executed. So 0 to 3 is 4 elements. Okay, you can see that print mark I. So for every loop execution, the value of I will be incremented. In the next, you can see that in the next statement, I is equal to I plus 1. So accessing all the elements is possible by using this looping statements. So in the above example, mark list contains four integer elements: 10, 23, 41, 70, 75. Each element has an index value from 0. The index value of the elements are 0, 1, 2, 3 respectively. Here, the while loop is used to read all the elements. The initial value of the loop is 0, and the test condition is I less than 4. As long as the test condition is true, the loop executes and prints the corresponding output. So the during the first iteration, first loop, the value of I is 0. When the condition is true, now the following statement print mark of I gets executed, and print the value of mark 0 element, which is 10. The next statement is I is equal to I plus 1. Now the value of I is from 0 to 1. Now the flow of control shifts to the while statement for checking the test condition. The process repeated repeats to print the same element of mark, remaining elements of the mark until the test condition of the while loop becomes false. So all the iteration is being given in your as it is as a table. You can find it in an easier way. Okay. So next is reverse indexing. So here in the last example, you can see that the I value is 0, but here the I value is minus 1, which means that it will be starting from element 75, and it will be printing all the elements remaining in the list. So the same example but in the different order, and as well as you can see that they are providing an increment value as a decrement value. Okay, so here you can see that I is equal to I minus 1. uh, so this will keep on uh, changing the value of I in the desired order. Okay, so the same thing is given here also. So this iteration table will tell you each and every process in this example. Okay, next here you can see that length of the list. To find the length of the list, you can use the same function uh, which we have seen in the string function. Okay, len is the function which is used to find the length of a string in the previous chapter. The same function len can also be used to find the number of elements present in the list by using this len function. Okay, so the syntax for that is len is the keyword which is a function name, and inside the brackets you have to give the list name. Okay, so this will return the number of elements in the list. So this is an example accessing single elements in the list. So here you can see that len my subjects is the list of name of the list, and you can see that it is providing you the output as 4. Next here you can see that program to display elements of the list using loop. So you can see that all the 4 elements will be printed in the same order. Okay, so starting from so this is a positive index value, so I is equal to 0, starting from Tamil, English, computer science and max will be printed. So this is the way of using this to find the number of elements. You can see that in the test condition I is less than len of my subjects. Okay, len of my subject is nothing but it is a function that will find the uh, length of the uh, length of the list. So this will provide you the answer as 4, starting from 1 2 3 4. 4 elements are there. So this is the way of using len function. Not only this len function can be used in any kind of finding the number of elements in the list. So next is accessing elements using for loop. So for index value in list. Okay, so this the previous example we have seen using while loop. So here you can see that accessing the elements using for loop. So here index variable represents the index value of the elements in the list. Python reads this for loop statement like English. Okay, in English, for every element in the list of in the list, and print the name of the list items. Okay, say for example, mark is equal to 23, 45, 67, 78, and uh, 90, 98. So in that you can see that for x in marks, okay, x is the initial value. So it was by default we are not providing any value in the initial value x, so it will automatically take the value from the beginning, which is 0. Okay, so that's what you are getting the output as 23 in the positive order. Okay, so in the above example, mark list has 5 elements. Each element is indexed from 0 to 4. The Python reads the for loop and prints the statement uh, like an English letter. Okay, English sentence for every elements represented as x in the list of mark. Print the value of the uh, elements. Okay, so this is the way of executing. This is a way of understanding the for loop uh, in Python to access list. Okay, so with this we'll finish the class today. We'll see the changing list elements in the next class. Thank you, students.